Uvalde School Horror. 10 minutes that changed everything. Subscribe for more true crime. Like, comment, and help uncover the truth with us. The morning air in Uvalde, Texas, carried an uneasy silence. It was May 24th, 2022, a warm spring day that should have been filled with the laughter of children preparing for summer vacation. But by noon, that laughter was gone. Police sirens screamed through the quiet streets, and helicopters hovered low over Robb Elementary School. Parents ran barefoot, some still in pajamas, others clutching phones, searching for their children. Something unthinkable had happened. Inside one of the classrooms, the air was thick with chaos and confusion. Officers gathered in the hallway, their radios buzzing with desperate voices. "We have kids inside!" one shouted. But no one moved. Time seemed to stand still. From outside, parents could hear muffled cries, faint, but enough to break a soul. Those 10 minutes inside Robb Elementary would become one of the darkest in American memory. But how did it come to this? Just hours earlier, 18-year-old Salvador Ramos sat alone in his grandmother's house. A quiet teen with few friends and a history of anger, he had been spiraling for months. On social media, he posted cryptic messages, eerie photos of firearms, and a countdown that no one seemed to take seriously. That morning, an argument with his grandmother escalated into horror. He shot her before taking her truck and speeding toward the nearby school. At 11:31 a.m., surveillance cameras captured him crashing near the school fence. He climbed out, armed with a rifle, wearing dark clothing, his face emotionless. Nearby, a teacher saw him jump the fence and ran inside to call for lockdown. But it was already too late. Within moments, he fired shots into nearby classrooms, shattering glass and sending children hiding under desks. The first 911 call came seconds later. "There's a man with a gun at the school." Police units arrived fast, but confusion spread even faster. Officers surrounded the building but hesitated to enter. Inside, every second counted. Parents gathered outside, screaming the names of their children, begging officers to go in, but the command never came. And then, suddenly, silence. The gunfire stopped. Radios went quiet. One officer whispered into his headset, "He's still inside." But when they finally breached the door, what they found would haunt America forever. When the officers finally stormed room 112, the smell of gunpowder and silence hit harder than any sound ever could. The scene was one of unbearable stillness. Papers scattered, backpacks on the floor, tiny shoes left mid-step. In those 10 minutes, 19 children and 2 teachers had lost their lives. Their stories, each filled with laughter, drawings, and innocent dreams, were cut short in a way that words could never justify. Outside, chaos turned into despair. Parents screamed names into the air, hoping for an answer that never came. The small town of Uvalde, once known for its church picnics and football games, became the epicenter of a national heartbreak. News cameras arrived within hours, and the world's eyes turned to a single question: how could this happen again? But the horror didn't end at the crime scene. As investigators pieced together what happened, timelines began to clash. Footage from hallway cameras revealed something deeply troubling. Dozens of officers stood waiting outside the classroom door for over an hour. Radios buzzed with hesitation. Commands were unclear. And children trapped inside were still calling 911, whispering for help that didn't come. The truth slowly surfaced. Calls from students like 10-year-old Maya, who played dead to survive, described the moments before the police entered. "Please send help. He's still here," she whispered. Those words would echo across the country, fueling outrage, sorrow, and disbelief. Authorities initially claimed they had acted swiftly and bravely, but body cam footage and witness accounts painted another story, one of indecision, fear, and fatal delay. Parents demanded accountability. Why didn't they rush in? Why did they wait so long? The pressure grew so intense that Texas officials admitted mistakes had been made. Terrible mistakes, they said. The tragedy reignited national debates about gun control, school security, and mental health. Memorials lined the school fence, crosses marked with the children's names, stuffed animals resting at their feet. Reporters wept on live television. The grief wasn't just local. It was national. But beneath the mourning, investigators were still trying to understand why. What drove a teenager to commit such horror? They searched his home, his social media, his messages, and then they found something. A series of chilling online posts that suggested he had warned people just minutes before the attack. And one message, sent moments before he opened fire, left investigators stunned. And it changed everything they thought they knew. The final hours of the Uvalde investigation were filled with heartbreak, anger, and haunting revelations. When agents finally pieced together the shooter's digital trail, they uncovered a disturbing pattern. Just before the attack, he had sent private messages on social media to a friend overseas, announcing his plans in chilling detail. "I'm going to do something big," he wrote. Minutes later, he entered Robb Elementary School. This discovery shocked the nation all over again. How could someone so young, just 18, harbor such darkness and go unnoticed? Investigators found screenshots of conversations about weapons, photos of rifles, and months of cryptic posts that hinted at his growing rage. His classmates later said he had been bullied, withdrawn, and obsessed with violent games, but nothing explained the level of cruelty that followed. As more facts emerged, attention turned to those who could have stopped it. Law enforcement leaders faced harsh questioning from grieving parents and reporters. Every minute of delay, every missed call, became a wound reopened. Some officers admitted they were waiting for proper gear, others said they were following unclear commands, but none of that could undo the damage. Meanwhile, in Uvalde, the small community tried to find its voice amid unbearable grief. Churches opened their doors around the clock. Candles burned on every corner. The faces of the 19 children and 2 teachers became symbols of innocence lost, their smiles frozen in framed school photos that now stood beside crosses, balloons, and flowers. President Biden visited the town, promising answers and reform. But promises couldn't erase the pain. Families wanted more than sympathy. They wanted change. They wanted to make sure no parent anywhere ever had to wait outside a locked school, listening to gunfire while begging police to move in. Months passed, and the truth became clearer. The tragedy wasn't just about one violent act. It was about failures that stacked one upon another, from ignored warning signs to slow police response. The Uvalde shooting wasn't just another story. It became a mirror reflecting America's deepest scars: fear, inaction, and the loss of its youngest souls. At the final memorial, as the sun dipped below the horizon, the golden light washed over 21 white crosses. Parents stood in silence, their hands trembling over the names of their children. And though the sun set on that day, for the people of Uvalde, the night never truly ended. If you thought this story was intense, you're not ready for the next one. Hit subscribe, because the world's darkest crimes are only just beginning to surface.